What up, world? Welcome back to another episode of Clark Reviews. It's your boy Donovan. I believe it was yesterday, maybe the day before, the screenings or social media reviews for the Joker movie were released following the Venice Film Festival. The Venice Film Festival, where this movie was screened, and to my great surprise, it it is surrounded with overwhelming positivity. Now, if you watch any of my previous videos, you will know that I do have my hesitations and reservations about this movie. But without further ado, let me read some of these reviews from critics. So, according to Screen Rant, which is a very reliable source in my opinion, the title of the article is Joker Movie Early Reviews Praise Joaquin Phoenix's Grim and Gritty Villain Origin. I'm not going to read all of these because there's a gang of them, but I'm going to read a few of them. David Rooney from The Hollywood Reporter, but this is Phoenix's film, and he inhabits with an insanity by turns, pitiful and fearsome in and out there performance that's no laughing matter. Not to discredit the imaginative vision of the writer-director, his co-scripter, and invaluable tech and design teams, but Phoenix is the prime force that makes Joker such a distinctly edgy entry in the Hollywood comics industrial complex. Owen Gleiberman from Variety says, Joaquin Phoenix is astonishing as a mentally ill geek who becomes a killer clown Joker in Todd Phillips' Neo Taxi Driver Knockout, the rare comic book movie that expresses what's happening in the real world. Stephanie Zacharek from Time Magazine says the movie cracks, and it's practically all cracks, are stuffed with phony philosophy. Joker is dark only in a stupidity adolescent way, but it wants us to think it's imparting subtle political and cultural wisdom. Arthur inspires chaos and anarchy, but the movie makes it look like he's starting a revolution where the rich are taken down, the poor get everything they need and deserve, and the sad guys who can't get a date become killer heroes. There's a sick joke in there somewhere. Fortunately, it's on us. Oh, well, that was a bad one. Excuse me. Alonzo Duralde from The Wrap says the politics of Joker are similarly wobbly. Web pundits on all sides of the spectrum with no doubt fish out this area and that line of dialogue to declaim what Joker is really about, which ultimately means it's not really about much of anything at all. It would be tempting for some to declare this the first art film based on a DC or Marvel property, while it is certainly represents a bit of a departure and something of a risk. Joker is an ultimately grim and gritty comic book nihilism jacked up to the ninth degree, wrapping up a convincing but ultimately hollow simulacra of better, smarter movies. Huh. Damn, that's two in a row. Shit. David Elrich from IndieWire. Todd Phillips' Joker is unquestionably the boldest reinvention of the superhero cinema since The Dark Knight. Of course, they compare it to that, right? A true original that's sure to be remembered as one of the most transgressive studio blockbusters of the 21st century. It's also a toxic rally cry for self-pitying incels and hyper-familiar origin story so indebted to Taxi Driver and the King of Comedy that Martin Scorsese probably deserves an executive producer credit. Wait, didn't he executive produce the movie? Maybe he's making a joke. I think Martin Scorsese actually executive produced this movie. He was supposed to direct it at one point in time. Okay, Terry White, Empire. This could, particularly in the current climate, be viewed as a lament for outsiders and ignored. That's too simple, and Joker does anything but deliver you easy answers. It's a sad, chaotic, slow burn study of someone who isn't visible, who doesn't even exist in the world around them. But your empathy, sympathy, even isn't guaranteed, and it begins to dissolve as Arthur somehow moves even further to the edges. Jenna Bush from Vital Thrills. This standalone film was a brave choice by Warner Bros. And is very likely going to pay off. Again, this is a different film to watch. It's going to take time to process, but ultimately, I think it's going to be a definitive part of Joker canon. Huh. Huh. You know, I read a lot of reviews, particularly IGN put out their review of the movie, saying they gave the Joker movie a solid 10 out of 10 and they called it a masterpiece. Uh, a masterpiece is a very strong word to use for a movie, particular comic book movie, specifically a comic book movie revolving around the origin story of a villain with no hero in the movie, a solo villain movie of a comic book franchise, canon, whatever. Um, they called it a masterpiece. IGN did. Tyrone Magnus actually did a review of their review of the movie. Now, I will say that from the time this movie was damn near post production, people were talking about an Oscar worthy performance by Joaquin Phoenix. Now, I don't know if it's that great or people are trying to measure up what Heath Ledger did with his Joker movie. Now, this would be leading actor instead of supporting actor with Heath Ledger got because he was in a Batman film. But people have been talking about him getting nominated for Oscar damn near since this film was talked about. Literally. On Rotten Tomatoes, I believe it's at 89% right now from the critics. The thing that worries me about that is that when critics like a movie, general audiences usually don't like it as much. You know, very rarely do I see the two kind of cross paths and agree with each other, right? Like I'm a DC guy, I'm a Batman guy. I support things on comic books, but this ain't like fantasy sci-fi alien shit like Venom was. You know what I mean? He's fighting against society. He's a regular dude instead of Venom fighting against other symbiotes. You know what I mean? So, and I had my reservations about that too because Spider-Man wasn't in. How do you make a Venom movie without Spider-Man? I know he had the Lethal Protector comic book line, but adapting that to cinema is a little bit different. And Venom was okay. The first third of the movie was boring, but they say this one is a slow burn. For me, when you say a slow burn, that means there's a lot of build up. And general audiences don't like a lot of build up. They get bored real fast. So they can be like, hey, it was terrible in the first third or half, but the second half was good. So, I mean, a lot of the experts say it's going to make its money back. Joaquin Phoenix, this one is the best performance. It was trend setting. It's going to be part of Joker canon, as you read in that review. I don't know. So I have to find out for myself. But you guys let me know what you think of the reviews. Let me know your anticipation for the movie. Let me know if you plan to see the movie in your comment section down below. And while you're here, like, share, and subscribe to your boy's channel. If I get a notification that you subscribe to me, I'll subscribe back to you. Until next time, y'all take it easy. Game recognized game. Peace.